The first mistake which I have seen in these applications, you have to show your temporary intent all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sajjad Malik. I am a business and immigration lawyer, a barrister and solicitor in Ontario, Canada, and I'm speaking to you from my office in Oakville, Ontario. The purpose of today's video is to inform you about the common mistakes which potential foreign students make when they are submitting their study permit applications. A few of you may be considering coming to Canada to upgrade their education. Others might be coming here to not only upgrade their education, later on work on postgraduate work permits and look at their opportunities to become a permanent resident under the Canadian Experience Class. A few common mistakes which I have noticed over a period of my practice, I would be discussing with you in this segment. The first mistake which I have seen is incoherent study plan. When you're coming to Canada, you have to prove to the authorities and convince the immigration authorities that you're coming to Canada on a study permit is not a futile exercise. It is not a way to finding an opportunity to stay permanently in Canada. It is a bona fide studies. You are a genuine student, and your past education, your future career prospects, your current ability to learn for this education are all in line. So the first thing they look at while determining these applications is your study plan. So if you have studied in the past in business and later on you are switching to a class in music or a degree in music, you should be very well able to convince the authorities why that drastic change has been. The level of education from bachelor's to natural progression to master's and natural progression to PhD is understandable, but getting a degree at the same level it's sometimes ununderstandable that you have already completed a master's degree in one subject and now you are completing another master's degree in another subject. You have to develop that link. You have to establish how practically that would help you in securing your career back home. How would that degree contribute towards your professional profile? How would it be useful? How that investment is worth spending? The amount of money which you're spending in Canada, it may not be at par at what you could pay in your home country, but here you have to justify that if you're putting in $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in a Canadian education and your tuition fees and your boarding expenses and other expenses, why is it a justifiable cost in your circumstances? If it is your lifelong saving that you have worked for 5 years and then you have saved this amount for in those 5 years or 10 years, you have to very well justify what motivates you to spend all that amount in 1 year or 2 years of education in Canada. Your study plan would not only convince the authorities that your education, the subject which you're studying, it has a natural connection with what you have studied in the past, what you're currently doing, what you would be doing in future, but it should also be very clearly indicating why that education would add to your profile. In a few refusal reasons, we have noticed that the immigration authorities, they set the ground that we are refusing this person because this person's past education does not relate to what currently that person is pursuing or intends to pursue in Canada. Second reason, you have to very well document the source of your investment or the source of your tuition fee, your boarding fee, your lodging fee in Canada. Just showing that your dad would support it and your dad has a bank statement which has money lying in it won't be sufficient. They like to see whether the money you are intending to spend in Canada on your education, it is logical to spend that amount of money. Is the benefit drawn proportional to what you are spending in Canada? Is the money in your control? Because if it is lying in your dad's control or brothers or sisters' control, what ensures that if they are allowing you to come to Canada on a study permit, they would still be supporting you in this process? So you have to make sure that the source of funds is very clear, it's very much documented, you have the evidence to that, and it is in your control when you're submitting your application. Other reasons for refusal of study permit applications is that you haven't done the proper homework to complete your immigration forms. You have provided incorrect information about your proposed education, your expenses, your study subjects, course, etc., or you are deficient in certain, or your application is not supported with all the documents required in it. I would emphasize during this, which doesn't cover everything because there's so many other reasons which could become a recipe to disaster. The last thing I would like to mention is when they look at your offer of admission very carefully, and then the offer of admission should have certain ingredients in them, including the course of studies, the DLI number, whether it's an approved DLI, designated learning institution, or not, and whether the course, what are different courses, when would you be studying, would it be physically studied or in class, or if there's any element of online or co-op placement in that. So based on these four major reasons, they decide your application. Your study plan has to be coherent, your sources, financial resources for your education must be well documented and coherent, your documentation, your application form, supporting documents, all of them should be there which are required as per your country checklist or as per generic checklist. And you should also have the ability to demonstrate that you will return to your home country after you have completed your application. Nowhere in the application you have to indicate or you have to show that you have any intention of remaining in Canada forever and you won't return, you will find a job. It is a major mistake which people make in these applications. These are temporary resident visa applications. In these applications you have to show your temporary intent all the time. At no stage you have to indicate or show that you have an intention of remaining permanently in Canada after your education is completed. There are several other reasons which may become a reason for refusal, but it depends on what your circumstances are, depend on the specific circumstances of that particular student or candidate. If you wish to know a little more about it, if you have any specific questions, if you wish to have a specific legal consultation in your particular set of circumstances, please feel free to reach out to me. Our firm's contact details are displayed at the end of this video, and we would be very happy to support you in your study permit applications. Thank you very much and enjoy yourself.